Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the brand new, yet to be released Nike Mercurial Veloce 2 in the Hyper Punch, Volt, and Metallic Gold colorway. Now, because this is a takedown model, it does not come with a string bag, nor does it come with any extras. All you get inside the box are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these out of the box really quickly. And if you guys could take a second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at the Nike Mercurial Veloce 2, a takedown model in the new Mercurial series, and one that honestly is going to change the game as far as takedown models are concerned. It's really going to force all the other companies to up the ante in terms of the quality that you're getting based on the price that you pay for some of these takedown models. And honestly, I'm quite surprised with what we get for the $130 retail that they're asking for the Veloce 2. And I know my videos are long, I know they're very, very detailed. Not everybody sits and watches the full 10 to 20 minute videos that I make, but trust me, if you are considering the Vapor 10 in any way at all, please watch this video because it may make you reconsider altogether. So for those of you guys that aren't familiar with the new Mercurial line, you have your top end Superfly 4, $275 retail price. Below that you have the new Vapor 10 with a $200 retail price, and then below the Vapor 10 we have the new Veloce 2 with, like I mentioned before, a $130 retail, up $20 from the original Veloce model, which is never really a good thing. We don't like to see price increases, but they definitely have increased the quality, and I can't complain too much just based on what you're getting for your full $130 this time around with the Veloce model. With that being said though, if you are interested in ordering a pair of these for yourself, check out the review page on my website. There'll be a link in the description of this video. You'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, allowing you to pick these up at $105 as opposed to $130. So for $105, trust me when I say this is an absolutely fantastic value. For those of you guys that have watched my channel for a long time, you know that I'm not a big promoter of takedown models, especially the ones that retail above the $100 price point. Normally when you're spending over $100, you can get better deals on older high-end models for around the same price. But this time around, like I said, Nike has made a very, very enticing product in the Mercurial Veloce 2 that is eerily similar, surprisingly similar to that of the Vapor 10. That's going to make a lot of people really struggle between whether or not they should spend the full $200 for the Vapor 10 or spend $130 on the Veloce 2. They really are that similar, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So with that being said, let's get right into the details. First things first, let's quickly go over the colorway. Now obviously, just like the rest of the Mercurial line, the Veloce 2 is launching in the same Hyper Punch color that we're going to see for the 2014 World Cup. One thing that's interesting about this Hyper Punch color is that it looks much different in person than it does online pretty much everywhere that I've seen. For whatever reason, even in this video, it picks up on film and on camera, even in pictures, as more of a red color, when in person, it's much more of a pink as opposed to a red. So please keep that in mind if you're pre-ordering. And again, this is not something that's an opinion thing. They really are more pink than they are red in person. So again, ignore almost what you're seeing in this video as far as the color is concerned, because in person it looks a lot different. I just don't want anybody pre-ordering these things expecting a red shoe and getting a pink shoe once they arrive. So again, please keep that in mind. If you can't handle the pink, you may want to wait for future colorways. Now, as far as the rest of the shoe is concerned, you're going to find your main Nike swoosh here with a Volt yellow base. It's got that metallic gold detail, which we originally saw on the Magista, which looks really cool actually. Really pops against that Hyper Punch base. And then of course the swoosh is outlined in black, which is a nice little detail as well. You're going to find a smaller variation of that Nike swoosh on the medial side of the heel, as you can see. On the very back of the shoe, you're going to find a fused piece of material covering up the only seam on the upper, and then your Mercurial branding there in black, as you guys can see. And then the sole plate is pretty much all black. It's a compressed nylon, just like what we find on the Vapor 10. And then of course the studs are all solid Volt yellow plastic, as opposed to some of them being more of a translucent color, which is again what we see on the Vapor 10. But the layout itself, actually the entire sole plate, is identical apart from a few color differences. Heel liner is black, insole is Volt yellow, one more Nike swoosh in black right there on the tongue, and that's pretty much it as far as the colorway is concerned. Again, main takeaway here, they're much more pink than they are red in person, so please keep that in mind. Starting off with the upper, I have to say I'm extremely happy with the Veloce 2. In terms of quality, I don't think that any other takedown model can match it or even come close for that matter. And I'm actually very surprised with Nike with how similar they've made this shoe to the top-end Vapor 10. Now, if we look back at the Vapor 9 versus the Veloce model, the original Veloce I should say, there were some similarities, yes. The Veloce featured a similar Teijin synthetic upper to that of the Vapor 9, although it was a little bit thicker. But they also included a very thick, kind of cumbersome liner on the inside of the shoe that I felt was unnecessary, and it really took away from the overall premium feel that you would normally get from the Vapor 9 that didn't have that same liner. It's something that Nike incorporated into the shoe almost intentionally to make it worse, just to widen that gap in overall quality and performance between the Veloce and the Vapor 9, which I guess is understandable because there was a major price difference. You want that best of the best feel from your top-end product, but what they've done with the Veloce 2 and the Vapor 10 is changed very little, which is something that I'm very happy about and is really the best thing possible for the consumer, which is you guys, because you're really getting a high-quality product for a fairly low price, a price that honestly I consider to be fair. What they've done is they've taken the upper of the Vapor 10 and they've moved it to the Veloce 2 really without making any differences. It's the same one-piece Teijin synthetic upper, the exact same thickness, the exact same support cage on the inside, the exact same texturing, with only two minor differences that really aren't going to impact the overall performance. One, because it's a takedown model, it does not feature ACC all conditions control, which is no big deal. It's a gimmicky thing anyways. I don't think that that's something that's going to make or break your experience with the Veloce 2 versus the Vapor 10. And then the second element that the Veloce 2 is missing is that it doesn't have the same one-piece upper design of the Vapor 10. Now, while that one-piece upper design does feel pretty good, I have worn the Vapor 10 several times now and I actually quite like them a lot. To me, it's a definite improvement over the Vapor 9, at least if you ask me. A lot of people out there probably aren't so crazy about that one-piece design. I think it does make for a smaller amount of people that are actually going to fit into the shoe properly. And for the most part, I think more people would be happier with the standard Mercurial layout with the central lacing system, the tongue, like we've seen on pretty much all the Mercurial models up until the Vapor 10. So those are the only two elements you're missing out on. So essentially for half the price, you're getting the Vapor 10 in the form of a Veloce 2. So if you can live without ACC and that one-piece upper design, I think it's going to be pretty hard for a lot of people to justify the $70 price difference between the Veloce 2 and the Vapor 10. So as mentioned, you're getting that same thin Teijin synthetic upper. As to whether or not the thickness is any different, I've held both in my hands, I've opened the shoe up, I've juggled in the shoes, I've worn the shoes, and I honestly can't tell a difference. If the Veloce 2 is a little bit thicker, it's so minute a difference that you really can't tell at all. So again, I'm just going to say that they're straight up the same because that's what I can tell, that's what I can feel. Again, no ACC, but you do have that same kind of textured finish on the outside of the upper. Somebody actually pointed out in the Vapor 10 video that's a very similar texturing to what you find on the Nike Orta Match Ball, and that's actually quite true. It's a really good call on that one, and it's just a very fine, what they call a micro texturing, not quite as extreme as what we got from the Speed Control golf ball like dimpling on the Vapor 9, but just enough to provide a little bit of additional grip on the ball, nothing too extreme, and I actually quite like the kind of premium feel it gives the touch of the new Mercurial series. Again, your standard central lacing system with a tongue, nothing too unusual for a Vapor model. And then as far as that support cage on the inside is concerned, I couldn't show it to you on the Vapor 10 because I couldn't open it up because there is no tongue, but here I can remove the laces, and again, it has the exact same support cage on the inside of the boot as what you're going to find from the Vapor 10. You can see how clean it's made on the inside. It's very high quality, and again, if you told me this was the Vapor 10 without actually showing me the Vapor 10, I would probably believe you because the quality really is that good. So you have the same thin Teijin synthetic material, no liner on the inside just like the top end Vapor, and then your thin fused on synthetic leather support cage that works with the lacing system. As you can see, this allows them to have an ultra thin Teijin synthetic upper but still maintain plenty of lateral support when you're making those hard lateral cuts, and it definitely does work. I tried it on the Vapor 10 and I expect it to work just as well on the Veloce 2. So again, if you're looking for Vapor quality without the Vapor price, the Veloce 2 is a very, very enticing option. And as of right now, if you ask me, this is by far the best quality takedown model currently out there on the market mainly because it isn't really a takedown. Next, let's talk about the Soleplate. Now, just like what we saw from the Hypervenom Fatal, the first takedown model in the Hypervenom line, and the Hypervenom Phantom, they featured the exact same Soleplate and stud pattern. And that's exactly what we're getting this time around with the Vapor 10 and the Veloce 2. Now, obviously, unlike the Vapor 9, it no longer features that glass fiber construction. Instead, you're getting a compressed nylon, similar to the construction of the Soleplate on the new Magista Obra, and this is a very thin material. It's rigid enough, it's nice and responsive, but at the same time it's a little bit more flexible than what you're going to get from the Hypervenom Phantom, simply because it is a little bit thinner, but it still feels nice and solid and is surprisingly comfortable. You can see it's pretty much smooth. You just have this kind of Y bump in the middle here just to provide that little bit of extra rigidity and support through the middle of the Soleplate. As far as the studs are concerned, they're attached over top of this compressed nylon material, and the layout again is identical to what you're getting on the top end Vapor 10. The only difference here is going to be, like I mentioned earlier, the finish of the studs. They're solid plastic as opposed to being clear plastic, but again, that's not really going to impact the performance in any way at all. You can see that Nike has reverted back to the 4-stud layout as opposed to the 2 studs in the heel that we got on the Veloce model. To me, this is a big improvement. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more stable, and just be better suited for a wider variety of firm natural grass playing surfaces, if you ask me. The layout in the forefoot is also slightly changed from what we got from past Mercurial models. You have similar layout of studs, but the studs themselves are a little bit more angled. You have kind of these like arrow-shaped studs as opposed to them being completely straight. Then you have this new kind of circle oval type pattern right here at the tip, which gives you plenty of kind of grip when pushing off in pretty much any direction. And again, just like the top end Vapor 10, you have this little kind of lip that raises off the sole plate right here at the tip of the toe, providing that little bit of extra grip when you kind of are on the very, very tips of your toes. It's a nice little addition and something that actually works quite well. I wore the Vapor 10 with this stud pattern in several different types of playing conditions, natural grass I should say, over the last couple of days, and I have to say it's performed extremely well, and I would expect the same level of performance from that of the Veloce 2, simply because it's the same sole plate and stud pattern. So again, you're getting a top end piece of product on a takedown model that is pretty much half the price. Very quickly, I just wanted to go over some of the smaller details of the Veloce 2. The insole is fully removable and features pretty much the exact same design of what you're going to find on the Vapor 10. Mesh liner on top, perforations throughout. The only difference here is it uses a gray foam, which is a little bit thicker, feels a little bit softer as well. So again, not a huge difference here. And actually, I would prefer the Veloce 2 insole over that of the Vapor 10, just because it is a little bit thicker and a little bit more cushioned, but it definitely will get the job done. The shoe obviously features the exact same low cut in the heel as what you're going to find from the Vapor 10, as well as even the Victory 5. And then, of course, the heel liner is also the same as what you're getting on that top-end Vapor 10 model. It's a black liner made from a synthetic leather material that features a surprising amount of padding considering the lightweight construction of the shoe. So that's pretty much it as far as all the small elements are concerned, and move on next to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. So, we know that the upper is the same, we know that the sole plate is the same, and just the general construction of the shoe is very similar to that of the Vapor 10. So that would obviously mean that the weight is also very similar, and you'd be correct. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. Going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 6.5 ounces. Now in comparison, the Vapor 10 in the exact same size 9 weighs in at about 6.4 if you guys saw my video on that shoe. So there's a 0.1 ounce difference between the two, which is essentially nothing. It's less than the weight of the laces. So not something you're going to notice in hand, not something you're going to notice on feet. And again, you're getting that high-end shoe, you're getting that premium product, you're getting that lightweight construction from a shoe that costs half the price of the top-end Vapor 10. So again, the Veloce 2 as a whole is just an incredible package and an incredible value. So that's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of this video is concerned. And I move on next to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit, and of course, what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the Veloce 2 on feet, and in comparison to the Vapor 10, in comparison to high-end Vapors in general, that's what these feel like. They don't feel like a takedown model, they don't feel like the previous Veloce. If this was introduced to me as the Vapor 10 and I didn't know any better, I would probably believe you because it really is that nice of a shoe. Now, in comparison to the Vapor 10, it does feel a little bit different. I will give it that because it does not have that one-piece design. The Vapor 10 does feel a little bit unique in that regard. But for the most part, if you're comparing it to something like the Vapor 8, even the Vapor 9, this is a very similar type of fit. It's a nice tight fit. A fairly narrow cut shoe overall. So again, if you have wide feet, you probably want to stay away from the Mercurial line altogether. But again, this has that premium fit that we got from the Vapor 9, that we get from the Vapor 10 for, of course, half the price. Again, the thing to keep in mind here is that it is a more narrow cut style of shoe, which we've come to expect from the Mercurial line. So if you have wide feet, it's best to stay away. Overall, though, the synthetic feels great. It's nice and flexible from right out of the box. And really, it doesn't feel like there's going to be much break-in time required with this new Mercurial layout, with the much more flexible sole plate than what we got from the Vapor 9, which used obviously glass fiber as opposed to compressed nylon. In terms of sizing, though, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit in the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of Veloce 2s, I would strongly recommend going true to size. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the Nike Mercurial Veloce 2, the takedown model that really isn't a takedown. And I say that because it doesn't compare to a standard takedown model. This is right up there in quality with the Vapor 10, right up there in quality with any of the past high-end Vapor models. It really is that nice of a shoe, and considering you can pick it up for $105, it's an absolutely incredible value. So again, if you're looking for the new Mercurial line, something from the new Mercurial line, you don't necessarily have to get the Vapor 10. If you can live without the ACC, if you can live without that one-piece upper design, then the Veloce 2 is an absolutely phenomenal option and incredible value. So again, if you guys are interested in picking up a pair of these for yourself, below the $130 retail, be sure to check out the review page on my website, linked down below in the description. You'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, allowing you to pick them up for around $105. You're also going to find the high-quality image of the shoe, and over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be working on my full written performance review as well, so you can look forward to that if you are interested in more details on the overall performance. Other than that though, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions at all, be sure to leave those down below in the comments, and I'm sure there will be plenty of questions about this particular product. If you enjoyed today's video and you found it helpful, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks for watching.